And most agents in this market, 91% do not know how to do a proper buyer presentation. So here, while they're showing homes, they're learning the buyer presentation. They're learning how to write offers. But I just want the buyer presentation. Okay, who are you going to present to? If your initial phone call is no bueno, how do you think you're setting up the buyer presentation? Not very great. What about the opportunity cost? Well, what if you could do better phone calls where they were actually excited for you to come over and talk to them because you followed a better process than the back door? Like, I want to go right through the front door and talk to somebody. I don't want to go through the back door and sneak around to the kitchen. Like, that feels creepy, feels disingenuous to me, right? So we got to go back to this model, right? What's your apprenticeship model? What's up? Vikram Deol here with the Trust Report Influence Sales, the TRIZ sales method with Sheridan Street. And today I wanted to, a couple of you guys had asked me for some information about what I call the apprenticeship model. And the apprenticeship model is it's a stepping stone, right? It's exactly what we need from a new agent. So if you're a team leader, right? Or if you're a individual agent and you wonder why your team and why you are not having the success that you want, I'm going to break down how we did our team and how we were able to do hundreds of millions of dollars in sales. And I was actually able to travel and do a lot of things that most team leads and most agents will never do, right? And the reason why isn't because you're not hardworking. It's not because you don't care. It's not because you don't have a big heart, right? It's none of those reasons. It's that you were following an antiquated model, right? And you were following a model that has been broken since the beginning of real estate, as far as I know. And it continues to stay broken because whenever I coach teams, right, we just had, I had a couple buddies that I know that run teams and, you know, they didn't need any sales training. They needed more leads. They needed an ISA. They needed, you know, better marketing. They needed more social media. They need all these things. Well, now their team is broke and they're out of the team game and they're back into the solo agent game, right? And it's not because that's a better model, right? It's actually because they didn't set themselves up for success using what I call the apprenticeship model. So let me just jump in here and kind of draw this out for you of what I mean. Okay, so we want to create what's called a roadmap, right? So I call this the apprenticeship model, right? The apprenticeship model, and it's stairs, right? STAIRS, stairs for success, right? So what are we going to do here is we're going to start out and we're going to think about this as a new agent, right? And we have our first stair. I'll fill these in, right? And then we have some learning. And then we have our second stair. And then we have some learning. We have another stair. 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 We have some learning. And the learning never stops, right? I'm going to kind of show you how we should start, right? So when we start out as a new agent, what should we do, right? So we're here, right? We're here. We're a brand new agent. We're excited. We're ready to pop. But what we want to do is we want to get somewhere up here, which is a fully, right, independent agent. Now, this could be an agent on your team, and there's ways that we can help them get to independence, but they're able to do listings, they're able to do buyers, they're able to work with investors, they're able to do all these things. So step one as a new agent, right? We have a new green agent. I use a color green. We have a new agent. What's the most important thing that they need to learn? Well, if you look at predominantly, and I've coached hundreds of people, thousands of people actually, and I have seen multiple industries, the number one problem is we have no idea how to fill the calendar, right? So we need to learn a few skills. One of those skills is going to be prospecting, right? Because the truth is that most people are scared to prospect. Why? Because they don't have the right things to say. They're following the same old script that's been used for 20 years, and it just feels really antiquated. So we need to learn how to prospect with human behavior, right? So this is what we teach you inside of the TRIZ method, right? We teach you how to use behavior. You need to learn the game plan frame, right? Because the game plan frame is the most universal framework on how to book appointments, right? And we need to learn how to, right, do some follow-up. Because when you're brand new, you're probably not going to book everybody into an appointment. Now, the problem is that from a new agent, right? The new agent wants to go from new agent and they want to just hop all the way up here to the top doing 2 to 3 deals per month. And you guys, I talked to 10, 15, 20, some weeks, 30 agents. And the amount of agents that are doing 2 to 3 deals a month is pretty minimal, right? It's pretty minimal, right? There's no foundation. So what we want to teach the agent is this. We want to teach them how to go from brand new, they're excited, they're ready, like, hey, let's go. We want to teach them how the steps, right? ... And then we take them up and we step them up one level. Okay. We step them up one level, right? So now we learned how to fill the calendar. What's next? Well, believe it or not, we need to teach them just like a barista at your favorite coffee shop learns how to first, run the register. Then they learn how to heat up the milk. Then they learn how to clean the machine, right? They learn all of these steps. They learn how to clean the bathroom, open the front door, greet a customer, right? How to have an upsell, how to make change, right? There's a lot of steps. So we want to take them from here where they're brand new and excited. They've learned some steps and now they go up here, boom, right? And now we're looking at showing homes, right? They become a showing agent. Sorry, you guys, I lost some of my Sharpie, so I got only these fat ones when I was doing our event last week in Vegas, or a couple weeks ago now. But what do we need to learn here as a showing agent? Well, we need to learn how to set up an MLS strip, right? We need to learn how to communicate with the client. We need to learn how to talk to a listing agent. We need to learn how to set up a showing map, right? You guys, agents don't actually understand how to set up a showing map. So they'll go from like the north to the south to the east to the west to the north to the south. I'm like, well, that's just what the person wanted. Wait, what person wanted to drive north, east, south, west, right? All of these things they need to learn how to do. They need to learn how to open a lockbox. They need to know how to troubleshoot a lockbox. They need to know how to troubleshoot their app when they're showing property, because your app's going to fail. You're going to be in an area with no reception, right? These are all things that if you can help your agent learn, because they shadowed you, you created training videos, right? You plugged them into the right system. It's going to give them confidence. So now they're here, right? So now what do? They step up to the next step, right? And what we're doing is we're taking them from the back, right? The front of the step to the back of the step, and then we're jumping them up. We're not taking them from here to here. That would be crazy. That's a lot of steps. It's overwhelming. So now we're in the showing home phase, right? Well, in order to graduate from a showing agent to a buyer's agent, they should probably know how to do a buyer presentation or buyer consultation, right? And most agents in this market, 91%, give or take, do not know how to do a proper buyer presentation. So here, while they're showing homes, they're learning the buyer presentation, right? They're learning how to write offers, right? So now they can fill their calendar, check. They can show homes, check. They can do a buyer presentation, check. They can write offers, check. They're probably sitting inside of inspections with you, right? They're doing appraisals with you, right? They're doing all these tasks. But Vic, I have a lot of leads, right? Vic, I have a lot of leads. I need to get those leads serviced. Well, most agents don't know how to do this because it's complicated. And you throw the book at them and they're going to fail, right? This is super complicated. And if you want to protect your industry as a team leader, you got to protect your own company. You got to protect your own brand. Like, I would never let somebody go out there and represent my company, my team, my name that didn't know what the hell they were doing, because that's how I get paid. And you'd be damned if I'm going to let somebody just screw up my hard work, right? But that's what agents do all the day. All right. So now we're out showing homes. All right. So now we're out showing homes. Well, now we become a buyer's agent, right? Because now we've graduated. So we're a buyer's agent. So, right. So we up over here. So now we're here and we learn how to do buyer agent work, right? We learn how to do all the buyer agent work. So now we learn how to negotiate, right? We learn how to present offers. You guys, people don't know how to present offers. All right. We train this all the time inside of our programs. We train you how to actually present the right offers so that your clients win. Let me see if I can get a smaller pen here. Housekeeper was here this week and pens went. Let's see if we can find a little bit of a smaller pen. So many agents, we got our new Sheridan pen. Check that out. So many agents don't actually know how to present offers. They don't know how to package an offer, right? So You're telling your agent, hey, here's some scripts, here's some leads, go figure it out. Well, you're the reason why they failed. Okay. You're the reason why they failed. And instead of complaining about them, it's like agents saying the leads are bad. No, there's no such thing as bad leads. Some leads convert faster, but there's no such thing as a bad lead. There's just a bad process, right? So now we're going to step them up to interesting. We're a buyer's agent. Now what comes next? Co-listing, right? You teach them how to be a co-listing agent, right? What are the tasks that they need to do to be a co-listing agent? Well, they probably need to know how to prep, right? They probably need to know how to stage. They probably need to know how to set up showings, right? They're going to need to know how to have conversations with sellers, right? But they're not going to do this on their own. They're going to do this with the listing agent or you, right? So you're transferring your knowledge, right? So now we're here, right? They learn all the things, right? They're learning all the things. They're learning all the things. They're learning all the things. Their calendar's full of people. They know how to prospect. They know how to do open houses, right? Down somewhere over here, they're learning how to prospect, right? They're learning how to do open houses. They're learning how to conversate. They're learning how to convert, right? They're doing all the things. And then we jump them up here to becoming a co-listing agent. Well, they probably, in the co-listing agent, to graduate, they probably need to know how to do a listing agreement, right? And the way we get a listing agreement is through the presentation. Now, if you use my presentation, right, it's plug and play. All you got to do is just read the script a few times, memorize it, and bam, you're crushing it, right? So now they're doing this, all right? So they graduate from co-listing to a listing agent, right? So now they can take their own listings, right? Now, they're probably going to start with you, right? So they're probably going to start, and you're going to be leading, or you're going to be present on all of these presentations, right? Just to guide them to make sure that they don't miss anything, right? And then there's all the different tasks that they need to learn. But Vic, now if I make them a listing agent, they're going to leave my team. No, they won't. People only leave if they don't see opportunity with you, right? So you teach them how to be a listing agent. What's the next step, right? What's the next step? What happens here? Well, what happens here is now you start teaching them to be a mentor, right? They've been working with you. They've been working with your team. They understand. Now they can come back, right? I'm going to mess up this beautiful diagram. And now they can go teach the new agent. And they can create a mini team inside of your team where they get to give back. If you talk about Tony Robbins' 6 human needs, this is one of the most impactful things, right? Growth and contribution. So now they get to go help those brand new agents. They become, right? They start learning how to be a mentor, right? But they're not going to just mentor people right out of the gate. They're going to follow your system that you've been creating every step of the way. Right now, you don't have to create every single one of these at the beginning. You just have to show them that the first thing I'm going to do is teach you how to fill your calendar. The second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to fill show homes for me or for another agent on our team. Third thing I'm going to show you is how to be a buyer's agent. Then we're going to teach you how to be a co-listing agent. Then we're going to teach you how to be a listing agent. If you choose, right, you can become a mentor and you can mentor the other people that were once down here, just like you, happy, excited, scared as hell, right? And then become a mentor, but you're in mentor training, right? You're in mentor training. Then they graduate and they become a mentor, right? So they're selling, they're buying, right? And they get to teach somebody else how to show homes. So they're super busy up here as a mentor. Now they get a showing agent. They get somebody to fill their calendar, right? So they get an ISA for free, right? This ISA is free. All you do is pay a split of the commissions because this ISA is excited. They get to work with a mentor that's going to teach them exactly what they did to be successful. And the proof is in the pudding because they went through the same step, right? They went through the same exact thing right here, and now they're on your team, right? And this could take anywhere from 6 months, I've seen, for like true awesome rock stars, to 2 to 3 years. And so when people are like, well, Vic, they're going to leave us. Well, if you got a great 2 to 3 years out of this person and you made money and they made money and you had fun and they had fun, right? And then they decide to leave you after 2 or 3 years and you have 2 or 3 people that they've been mentoring and showing that are now filling their shoes. And this person graduates to a solo agent, right? They graduate to a solo agent because they're like, hey, we've loved it over here. But you guys, you know what happens? most people aren't going to leave. Because over here, as a team, you have all the infrastructure, right? You have all the infrastructure. Oh, that's spelled super wrong. Infrastructure. You have all the risk, right? You have all the late night stress. And this agent's super happy, right? They're just super happy over here because they're making tons of deals. And then they have a couple of people underneath them that are happy, making money. And so they don't need to leave because everybody's making money. So if you don't follow some sort of an apprenticeship model, you are actually setting up your team for failure, right? It is your responsibility if you become a team leader to do this. Well, Vic, I just wanted somebody to help me with my leads. Then just hire somebody and pay them a monthly fee and they worked for you as an employee. It's called an assistant. But if you want to build a real team, a bona fide team, then you need to have each one of these steps filled out. Because the amount of agents that I talk to, the amount of teams that I talk to that say, well, Vic, I don't know why they can't figure it out. I figured it out. Well, if they could have figured it out before, they wouldn't need you. They wouldn't need to give you a 50-50 split. The reason why most teams can't get a higher split than 50-50 is because you didn't give any value. You don't kill the messenger. Leads does not equal value, right? Where's your accountability at to the team members, right? What are their metrics that they need to follow, right? Their KPIs. What are your expectations? So many team leads I talk to have zero expectations because they're scared that if they start putting expectations on people, they're going to leave. Guess what? Let them leave. Better they leave now than they leave 6 months down the road, right? How did you hire the person, right? What was your process? Did you do any due diligence? All of these things right here matter, right? If you want to get a high split and you want people to be happy, what's your training, right? Like when I train teams, they go through our portal first. They go through our online methodology. They go through our human psychology training, right? They have to go through all of our training, our buyer, our listing, our open house, our expired. They go through all of that training, right? Because most team leads don't have the time to put something like that together. It takes a ton of time to build that, right? We teach them how to fill the calendar before we do anything else. Well, Vic, I just want the buyer presentation. Okay, who are you going to present to? If your initial phone call is no bueno, right? If your initial phone call is no bueno, how do you think you're setting up the buyer presentation, right? Not very great. If you're out there talking to expireds or FSBOs or canceled and you're setting up the preview, hey, I might have a buyer in the neighborhood. I just want to set up the preview. You might get your foot in the door, but then when you're trying to pivot from a preview to like, hey, let's talk about what's going to happen if your home doesn't sell, the seller's like, well, we didn't talk about that. Like when you called me on the phone, you said you might have a buyer. Now you're trying to pivot to saying like, well, if the house doesn't sell, well, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like I wasn't prepared for that conversation with you today. Like I have friends that are in the industry, so I might call one of them. I don't know. But you said you have a buyer, right? So if that script is off, sure, you might convert. If you do 10 appointments, you might convert 2 or 3 of them. But wouldn't you rather do 5 appointments to convert the 2 to 3 versus 10? Well, Vic, what about the opportunity cost? Well, what if you could do better phone calls where they were actually excited for you to come over and talk to them because you followed a better process than the back door? Like I want to go right through the front door and talk to somebody. I don't want to go through the back door and sneak around to the kitchen. Like that feels creepy, feels disingenuous to me, right? So we got to go back to this model, right? What's your apprenticeship model? Right? And this is why when we train teams, the first thing we put them through is our online training, right? Then we get them confident to make the calls, right? When they have confidence to make the calls, they have a full calendar. When they have a full calendar, now they can actually show homes. When they can show homes, right, now they can help be a buyer's agent. What are you going to do if they can't even get an appointment because they're scared? Now you're going to give them a buyer presentation. You're like, hey, figure this out too. It doesn't work that way. That's why we train all of our people step by step, right? The first thing Alex Hormozy, one of Sharon's friends, my mentor Sharon, right, who helped me build this program, one of the first things that Alex Hormozy does is he looks at people's sales processes. He's like, if their sales process is broken and I can fix it relatively easily, I know I can double or triple or quadruple sales. And it doesn't cost us any more money. I can make the company more efficient, right? More sales, more dollars, more profit, less work or the same amount of work, and everybody's happier. So do you want to do more work to get more opportunities? Maybe. Or do you want to do better work with the same opportunities you have a higher closing percentage, become more profitable, have more time, have more money, right? So that you can do the things that you want to do with the people you love, right? Like your family. Because every realtor says, I love my family, that's why I work so hard, but you never see your family. Or you don't have the money to do the things you want because inflation's gone through the roof. So anyways, I told you guys I would create something for you. I want you to see this because when I show this to so many team leads, like their eyes like pop out of their head. They're like, I've never seen this, right? Like I was doing this for a team lead the other day. So it's super, super clean. But we want to jump right from the front of the stair, not to the back. We want to jump from the front of the stair, learn, and then go from the back to the front, right? Let me just back here, bad, learn, good, learn, up, good, learn, up, good. Not like what most team leads go, all right, here you go, figure it out. This is bad, and this equals failure. And then you say the people aren't motivated. That's not true. These people were highly motivated, super motivated, but unfortunately what happened was they didn't get what they needed, and so they quit. They went from highly motivated to depressed because 6 months went on and they didn't close any deals. And it's because you didn't put the time, you didn't put the effort, you didn't set them up for success, unfortunately. I know it's not your fault because you were just doing what you were trained on doing, and it worked for you. But if it worked for you and it could work for them, then they wouldn't need you. They need you to fill in those steps. So if this was helpful, like, subscribe, comment below, share this with maybe you're on a team and you need to show this to your team leader. Maybe you're an operations manager. You need to show this to your team leader and be like, oh my God, this is amazing. If you want to just plug into our TRIZ 2.0 methodology, right? Our online portal, we actually, it's crazy how inexpensive it is compared to like the big coaching companies out there, right? We actually give you multiple coaching calls a month. There's live training calls every single month that your team will get to plug into, plus the entire portal, which is step by step, module by module, video by video, section by section, right? Everything's broken down into the simple. And the reason I do that is because if it's not simple, agents just turn it off and tune it out. So we break it down to the simple, very easy, very digestible, very comprehensive, right? Basically cover expireds, door knocking, open houses, circle of people you know, online leads, right? Circle prospecting, all of the lead sources. It's all in there. We have the buyer presentation, the listing presentation, objection handling playbook, right? There's a playbook in there on how to actually utilize your social media so that you actually get leads instead of just getting likes, right? And you can convert those into conversations to get presentations. We teach you how to book appointments from your open house, right? One of our newer agents, Ryan Markowitz, just a young guy, 23, booked 8 open house meetings, signed 2 or 3 of those people into buyers, and within the first week was already showing homes, right? Like instant action, right? The NAR lawsuit, been covering it for months. So if you want some more help, do that. But you can reach out to us, just, in the bottom, put success, and we'll reach out to you and we can talk about next steps. But if you don't have, right, if you don't have this, well, your agents are going to fail, right? The ones that are going to figure it out would figure it out without you. But the ones that can't figure it out, like, they're going to fail because they can't even do this. They can't even get an appointment. And if they can't get an appointment, there's no way they're going to beat a buyer, right? It's just not going to happen. Just not going to happen. So if you like this, again, subscribe, share, have an amazing day, go out, keep selling.